I'm going to preview the Baylor versus Arizona men's basketball game, which will be played on February 17th. Yes, it will be today when I release the recording of this video. I'm pre-recording this ahead of time so I get it out of the way. And I'm going to put the outlook on Arizona men's basketball in the description below. So I apologize if I'm looking at it because I cannot memorize all this stuff. It will be played at 9 p.m. Central Time on espn. And what are the records for both of these teams to be exact? Baylor 16-9 overall, 8-6 in the Big 12, while Arizona 17-8 overall, 11-3 in the Big 12. However, Arizona has lost the last two games to Kansas State on the road, which they won every game since the Baylor loss until the BYU game recently. And they even lost to Houston at home. But Houston's the best team in the Big 12. So I'm expecting them to play a little bit angry. I am. Well, Baylor's coming off of an emotional overtime win against West Virginia at home. 74-71 after that Houston loss that Monday, 76-65. And of course, these two games are without Joshua Zuluuna for the rest of the year. So there's still a little adjustment in everything. So what are some players to keep an eye on for Arizona? And I will say, at one point they did not have Trey Townsend and Anthony Del Orso. They're back. Of course, they do have one guy out for the year, which I'm not even going to mention the guy's name. So, Caleb Love is the first player to make mention. Number 1, 6'4", 205-pound guard. That's a senior. 15.9 points per game. 30.1% on threes on 196 attempts. 86.5% on free throws on 74 attempts. 4.5 rebounds per game. 3.4 assists per game. 1.9 turnovers per game. 1.4 steals per game. 1 foul per game. And it's Jaden Bradley, number 0, 6'3", 200-pound guard. That's a junior. 11.6 points per game. 30.9% on threes on 55 attempts. 82.4% on free throws on 91 attempts. 3.5 rebounds per game, 3.8 assists per game, 2 turnovers per game, 2 steals per game, 1.9 fouls per game. That's KJ Lewis, number 5. 6'4", 205-pound guard. That's a sophomore, 10.6 points per game. 19.1% on threes on 47 attempts, so not really a great three-point shooter. 84.6% on free throws on 91 attempts, 4.8 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game. 2.2 turnovers per game, 1.4 steals per game, 0.8 blocks per game, 2.3 fouls per game. And before I make mention that going forward, I do not think Baylor's going to be receiving votes, but if they are, it wouldn't shock me, even if it's just a few. While Arizona, I think they're going to be ranked, but at worst case, they're going to be receiving votes. But I'm doing this preview regardless on Baylor side of things. Now, Trace Townsend, number 4, 6'6", 228-pound forward. That's a senior. 8.8 points per game. 26.5% on threes on 34 attempts, but he has not attempted a lot of them recently. 79.5% on free throws on 44 attempts. 4 rebounds per game. 1.4 turnovers per game. 1.1 fouls per game. That's Henry Veesaar. Veesar. And I apologize if I butchered that. Number 13, 7 foot, 225-pound forward. That's a sophomore. 8.5 points per game. 29% on threes on 31 attempts. 70% on free throws on 60 attempts. 4.8 rebounds per game. 1.1 turnovers per game. 0.7 steals per game. 1.1 blocks per game. 2.6 fouls per game. And this, actually, Toby Awaka, number 30. 6'8", 250-pound forward. That's a junior. Actually, that's the guy I was thinking of besides Trey Townsend being out for the game. Or questionable. But you get the point. They did have some guys out a little bit or questionable, but they're both, all those players, they are healthy as they could be right now, with the exception to that one season-ending injury. So anyway, 7.9 points per game, 1 for 3 on 3-pointers. And Awaka is number 30, 6'8", 250-pound forward. That's a junior. So I apologize if I went over that again. Just want to make sure. 62.7% on free throws on 67 attempts, 7.7 rebounds per game, 0.8 turnovers per game, 2.8 fouls per game. Anthony Del Orso, number 3, 6'6", 109-pound guard. That's a junior, 7.8 points per game. 42.4% on threes on 85 attempts, 88.2% on free throws on 34 attempts, point 0.7 steal. I mean, 0.7 turnovers per game, 0.6 steals per game, 2.8 fouls per game. There's Carter Bryant, number 9, 6'8", 220-pound forward as a freshman, 6.3 points per game, 35.3% on threes on 68 attempts, 61.1% on free throws on 36 attempts, 30.8 rebounds per game, 0.9 turnovers per game, 1 steal per game, 1 block per game, 2.2 fouls per game. And really from there, it's like 2.1 points per game or less. But I'll just go over like that one guy that's 2.1 points per game, and after that, mentioning no more. And that's Conrad Martinez, number 55, 6 foot, 165 pound guard. That's a sophomore, 2.1 points per game, 4 for 7 on threes, which is 57.1%, and 87.5% on free throws on 8 attempts. So I'm going to make mention up front. You got to have recovered well prior to this game. I mean, you're thinner in terms of the rotation, and we only played like 7 guys last game, and you played in overtime at that. So you gotta recover well from that, and you gotta put that last game behind you and focus on this one. And this is a prime opportunity right here to get a quality win and secure our spot for the NCAA tournament. Let's just be real. Arizona is going to be a quad 1 team. They might be ranked. Even if they're not ranked, it's still a quality team right here. I mean, that's just telling the truth. And whatever you did right last game, bring you this game. Whatever you did wrong last game, you got correct. Like, make more threes, for example, and hopefully they make more. I hope. But I'll just go like offense, defense in a second here, but I'm going to go across the board. There may be questionable officiating in this game, which you can't deny that. It's just the nature of the beast. I mean, but you got to be a more mentally tougher team to move past that and make plays to win. You got to out-hustle. I mean, that's just another thing that you have to do in this type of game. And you got to have your bench players step up. Even if they, and maybe some other guys might not really play, like Jason Asamoah, Marino Duprovic, the only center that they have. But if he's gonna play, that's just the way it is. As in like the true center position, because what they're going out with is like forwards and guards, and they're gonna play small ball, and you gotta make adjustments on the fly, both offensively and defensively. And do not get yourself in a big hole like you did last time against Arizona. And obviously, whatever you did wrong against Arizona last time, you've got to correct for this time. And luckily, Jeremy Roach and Jalen Celestine are available for this game, unlike the previous meeting. Though there will be no Joshua Juuna. But I know Arizona at the same time is missing their starting center. I mean, from the beginning of the year, too. So you get the whole point there. So now defensively, you need to contain the shooters, and of course another thing across the board, you gotta limit your foul trouble as much as possible if you can, while getting them in foul trouble. I mean, it is what it is. Now defensively, you got to cause some havoc and like force turnovers. You got to limit the points out turnovers. You got to get some defensive boards and limit those offensive rebounds and second chance points, because that could be very well a difference in this game. I mean, you can't let them live at the free throw line either. And I don't care if they miss a ton of free throws or not. It is on them on that. But you get the whole point. You got to contain the shooters, contain the slashers. And Caleb Love can have a bad game shooting the ball and it could still win. And obviously, if he shoots well, he shoots well. I'm just saying, you got to limit their damage and like the best players as much as you can without fouling, of course. You got to limit the points in the paint. Fast break points, yeah. Points on turnover, yeah, you got to do that. And of course, 3-point shooting, and if you could get, and you gotta get some steals in this type of game, too, and obviously getting some blocks would help. But I know the rim protection might not be as good as it used to. But try to make it hard for them to get inside without fouling. Now, offensively, it's really whatever you did right last time against Arizona, and I know that was with Josh Ujuwuna and no Jeremy Roach and Jalen Celestine. Whatever you did in the second half, bring it to this type of game. And you got to shoot better from three than you did in that West Virginia game. I'll keep the free throws though. I mean, making free throws definitely helps in this type of game because it can make a difference on who wins and who loses. And if your 3-point shot's not going in, go to the basket. That's what they did against West Virginia, and they got called for fouls. And then they make free throws. You got to get some points off turnovers, points in the paint, fast break points. And you got to get more second chance points than you did last game. That's obvious. So, you know what I'm saying here. And really, the pressure's on Arizona. They're the better team. They're ranked, potentially. They're higher in the Big 12 standings. But yet, that doesn't matter. Because you could see all the upsets in Division I men's basketball. Even Kansas lost to Utah at Utah. I'm just saying. Now, it would really be helpful if North China O'Meara has the similar type of game that he did against West Virginia in this type of game against Arizona. Though obviously he does not need a foul out. Which I know why he did that last foul against West Virginia in overtime. They were trying to not let a 3-point shot happen. Hopefully VJ Edgecombe plays better than last game. He only had 7 points on 3 for 12 shooting, 0 for 5 on threes, and 1 for 1 free throws. However, he did have 8 rebounds, 1 offensive, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And hopefully Robert Wright continued what he did from the second half into this type of game. He needs to step up. And Jalen Celestine, yeah, he definitely needs to step up in this type of game right here, because I know he did not do much against Houston, against a better team last time in Houston, which I know West Virginia is good and all, but Houston is better. And hopefully he shoots the ball better in general, like 2 for 6 from the field. But all of them were threes, though, and some of those were good looks. And 4 for 5 on free throws, and he definitely needs to step up the rebounding department, especially with no Josh Ujuwuna. And Langston Love, he had a rough shooting day. I mean, despite getting 17 points, 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 6 on threes, but he made all 12 free throws. And that would really be helpful. And hopefully, Jane Nunn plays good too, offensively and defensively. And hopefully, Jeremy Roach does have a better game than last game with 1 point, because I don't think that's not going to cut it if Baylor wants to really beat Arizona. But you never know. And I think he'll step up and hopefully shoot the ball better and put that last game behind him and flush it. So, and I know Baylor as of right now is probably an NCAA tournament team, but this type of game right here would really go a long way to securing not a Big 12 championship, or Big 12 regular season title. That's not going to happen, I know. But a NCAA tournament bid. This is a quad 1 game. This is another opportunity to get a ranked win. Like you did that against Kansas last time, and that was despite no VJ Edgecombe and no Langston Love and no Langston Love for that game and no Jimmy Roach either. I mean, they could still find a way. It's just, and obviously, you cannot overlook Colorado. I know they just won their first game in a while in conference. You cannot lose that game, the following one. And you've already beat Cincinnati this year, but Cincinnati's playing better. And obviously, you get Oklahoma State at home. You need to beat them at home this time. And you got to go on the road to TCU and make up for that loss against TCU at TCU. And then you got Houston at home at the very end of the year, which that's going to be a tough game. But I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but you get the whole point. this is a prime opportunity to get a quality win at home. It's a lot easier to win at home than on the road. And you need to try to ignore the noise from the opposing fans that are there and take them out of the game as much as possible. And of course, if they do that during free throws, just ignore. But they already practiced that with like free throws, with the crowd noise, anyway. But you get the whole point, and get your fans involved, because having home court advantage really helps. So that's all I gotta say about this game right here. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe. See you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Ultimate goal. It's 1,000 or more, so we monitor this. Of course, like a video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. Some more people could see it. Sharing the video does help as well. Some more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button to hit the notification bell as well.